Okay, hey guys, it's Larissa here. I've started a new YouTube channel and I'm posting all my book reviews up there. Plus I'm going to do sensory reviews on that channel, so stay tuned for more details about that. In the meantime, today I'm going to be reviewing the last book I finished. I just finished it late last night. I know it's backwards because I'm on my phone, but it's called The Bone Code by Kathy Reichs. Those of you who have been following me for a while know that I absolutely love Kathy Reichs' Temperance Brennan novels. These books are what inspired the TV show Bones, which I never finished the whole series, but I think I watched the first eight seasons and I loved it. I loved the show so much that I thought I want to check out the books, and I was very pleasantly surprised to find out the books are not like the TV show at all, other than the fact that the main character has the same name and has the same occupation. Everything else is different. The other characters are different. The stories are different. The locations are different. Even the character herself is not the same at all as the lady on television. So in reality, for those of you just hearing this for the first time, Kathy Reichs really is a forensic anthropologist in real life. So many of her stories are based on cases she either personally was involved in or cases that she was familiar with. So she's very knowledgeable. She knows what she's talking about. She's not just an author doing research. I mean, this lady is really, really smart. She's also a really good writer. So there are, I think as of today, 23 or 24 books in this series. This is actually book 20. This is book 20, and I just finished book 21. My review is the Cold Bones. I posted a review not too long ago about that. However, I skipped all the ones in the middle. There's a reason. So I have read, out of the first 8 books, I read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7, I think, and then 20 and 21. The reason is my son's been buying these like for Christmas, birthdays, Mother's Day, and the last time he went to the bookstore to buy some for me, they only had the new ones out. So he bought those for me. But the cool thing is that you don't have to read them in order. I mean, there's a little bit of storyline that follows through, but each story stands on its own, and so reading them out of order hasn't been a problem. So this book in particular, the main character is Temperance Brennan, and by the way, she's like in her 40s. She's a mom of a grown daughter. Her daughter is in the military. In this book, she's off in, I think, Afghanistan. She has a boyfriend. She calls him Ryan. His last name is Ryan. I forgot what his first name is. And he's in a lot of the books throughout the series. And he's in this one just a little bit, kind of to provide some information and conversation. But the story rests very heavily on her and this other character who's a black female police officer who helps her detect detective stuff. And so what happens is during a storm, a big plastic barrel gets washed ashore in Charleston. I think she's in Charleston, North Carolina is where she's based. And they find 2 very decomposed bodies inside. They've been in there for about 5 years. 2 females, young females. And so her job is to figure out who they are. And she realizes that this is very similar to a case that she was part of 15 years earlier in Montreal, Canada, where 2 female bodies were in a container thrown in the ocean and washed up on shore. So the MO is very similar, and so the story is she has to figure out how they're connected and are the bodies that are inside these barrels connected. And at the same time, there's kind of this a disease that's going rampant through Charleston and parts of North Carolina. And there's like this epidemic going on, and so she has to figure out, is that connected somehow? So I don't want to give the story away, but all her books are very satisfying. If you like detective stories, if you like crime stories, none of her books are graphic. I mean, she describes the bones and the process that she goes through to discover things. Sometimes she'll describe the bodies that she sees, the wounds that she sees, but not in graphic detail. There's nothing really truly scary about her books. Every book has a little bit of conflict at the end, and you can expect that. I always think, how does one forensic anthropologist get into so much trouble all the time? But she always comes out the victor. So this story it was a little hard to follow at times because she talks in depth about DNA and the genome project, vaccines. So she, as a researcher and as a scientist herself, her books usually spend a little bit of time explaining, as much in lay terms as possible, the science behind the plot. This time she does that. It was at times a little hard to follow, but I have a little background, very little background in genetics from decades ago, so I was able to follow some of it. But it's just a little bit. You literally can skip that and you'll still understand the story. It was so much fun. I got to the point where the last 10 chapters, I couldn't put it down. I was dying to find out what happened. I was trying to guess who was the murderer and all that. Of course, her stories can take you by surprise. So this is Kathy Reichs, The Bone Code. I give it a 5 stars, 5 out of 5 stars, because it's so enjoyable. I thoroughly recommend it. I just went to the bookstore and I found the one in the first series, Grave Secrets, that I was missing. So I picked that up and I'll be reading that soon. I'm still trying to get through The Only Good Indians. I'll be reviewing that if I ever can finish it. Not a bad book, it's just a challenge to read. Very different style than Kathy Reichs. Kathy Reichs' style of writing is very fluid, very easy to read. Even though it's very scientific, it is a breeze to read and thoroughly pleasurable. So I'm reading this one. I'm still working on the history of the Relief Society. Once those 2 books are finished, I'll be moving on to Tulsi Gabbard's book that she recently published, For Love of Country. I want to read that. I'm going to read Grave Secrets, and I've got a stack of other books next to my bed that I got to get to. All right, you guys, take care. Hope you have a great day.